Hi everyone, this is a video to introduce you to our WRIT 1120 Canvas site. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible but be thorough so that you can see all the various resources that are available as well as understand a bit more about how the course site is organized. So when you log into our course site, you should first arrive at the welcome page. And this welcome page includes a lot of important details about the course, so I encourage you to start here and really read through the materials that are available on this page first. It describes a lot more about the structure of the course site as well as the class itself. As you first arrive, you'll notice that there is a link for my online drop-in hours or office hours. Since we're an online course, I typically do office hours and conferences online, so you can access those drop-in hours by clicking on the link here or the link that's under the "and by appointment" description. Both of those will work. Office hours will be Tuesdays 9 to 11 a.m. You can also schedule separate appointments. I'm pretty flexible in terms of when we can meet since we are meeting online, but those are days that I try to check in and be available for anyone that has kind of quick questions or wants to chat more about the class. I've also included a link to the YouTube channel for this class, so if you click there, it'll open up our YouTube page that actually has all of the videos on it that I've made to introduce different assignments, to describe different pieces of writing, and just kind of give you some additional materials to work through each week. Those are typically also linked individually in our modules page, so you can get to them throughout the semester that way as well, but if you want to visit it and kind of look ahead, see what all is available, you could click there. You'll also notice that there is a to-do list on the right-hand side of the screen. This is handy because it'll show you all of the different tasks that you have to do for the week. One thing to note here is that I can't add readings or videos to that to-do list. So typically what you'll see in this list is discussion boards to complete and then any assignments that are due, so things like rough and polished drafts. You will still have readings and videos to watch, and I'll show you later where those are available to view. As you scroll down, you'll see that there is some further information about the course itself. There's a little bit about kind of how to go about starting in the Canvas site, things to look for, a brief description of the class itself, a brief description of the texts that we'll be using, and all of those texts are free and available online, so you don't have any books to buy or any other materials to get. That's all going to be linked through our Canvas site. The next thing that I really want to highlight is the structure of the course section, and this section describes how things are organized in the class site itself. So if you're looking for kind of a map of what our Canvas site looks like, this is where to go. You'll see that it has information about each of the major different sections of the site. These are things you can also access on the left-hand side of your screen in the menu. But I also have included the different pages that are available, and all of these links are functional, so you can always come to this section of the home page if you're having trouble navigating the site or you just prefer to get to things this way. There's also some information on advice for online learning, different approaches to take and strategies. If this is the first or fifth online class you've taken, that advice is sound. I've also linked in some various spots advice from previous students. That's a good thing to check out to get a sense of good ways to succeed in the class. These are things that students have said at the end of the semester that were really beneficial, or things that they wish they had known week one. There's information here on contact and communication for the course, so read through that and get a sense of how you'll be contacted and ways that you can contact me. There's information about the course format. We are an asynchronous course, which means that we don't meet at a specific time, so know that you can come and go in the Canvas site as you please, but there are specific due dates for assignments, and you can find each of those due dates in various spots throughout the Canvas shell, as well as on the syllabus itself. There's some brief information about feedback and how grading works. There's some information about extensions and late work. I've included some links for technology requirements. So you are required to have the following free programs installed on your computer, and I've provided the links on where you can access those. You do need to have Microsoft Office. You should have Adobe Reader. That'll help you when you're looking to read the PDFs or the readings for the class. And Flash Player, because sometimes there will be videos or different things that you're linked to that you will need Flash Player for. I also strongly recommend having a couple different ways to back up your work. So a hardware device like a flash drive or an external hard drive is great. You could also use cloud software like Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, a different cloud service that you use. But I recommend having a couple different ways that you're saving your materials, because inevitably someone has a laptop die or something happens where your files get corrupted, and it's no fun to have to deal with, and it can give you some peace of mind if you've got access to your materials a different way. There are some expectations for the course that are included here, some basic technology sort of abilities that you'll need, so things like being able to upload and download files, being able to use Microsoft Word, etc. If you need additional help, I recommend always asking me first, and if I can't help, I'll direct you to a place that will. But know that also the Learning Commons is available, as well as information technology services for any technology kind of problems that you might have. I've also included at the very bottom of the page some additional learning resources. A lot of these are linked in the syllabus as well, but there are some specifics that are included here that are useful for online students. So the Learning Commons is available. Even though we're an online course, you can still use the resources in the Learning Commons. So if you're not on campus, that's okay. They offer support for writing courses online. You can still have a Writing Center consultant look at your papers. You can still meet online with a tutor. They also have a lot of great resources you can access asynchronously, so some guides as well as additional resources for doing different parts of writing as well as formatting. There are some writing resources also linked in the University Writing Program webpage. There's some good Learning Commons specific resources for online students, as well as some for non-native speakers. I've also linked accessibility services here, and know that you can always contact them if you need some additional support or if you need any kind of accommodations. But you can also contact me directly. So if there's something in the course that's not working for you, something that you anticipate needing, please contact me. Don't hesitate to do that, and I will do my very best to provide as much support as I can and work with you to find something that will make those accommodations work for you. I've also had a lot of students use and really love TRIO programs. So TRIO Support Services provides some additional educational access for students. They provide additional advising, tutoring, and academic support, and there are also some scholarship opportunities through them. So if you haven't heard of them before or haven't accessed them, they're worth checking out. I previously mentioned information technology services, and they're a great place to go, like I said, for any technology support needs that you have. And since we're an online class, those may arise and they can be very helpful. Counseling services is also available, and you can contact them online. Even though this isn't a face-to-face class, if you're not on campus, you still have the ability to use counseling services, and you can contact them through the link that's provided here. The Office of Distance Learning is the last resource I've included here that is really helpful for online students as well, and they provide methods that give online students as many opportunities as on-campus students have. If there's any additional resources that you know of that you think would be useful to include here or that I've forgotten, please let me know and I'm happy to add them. But this is a really good starting list for places to go for support that you need. I'm also a learning resource, so anytime you've got a question that you can't answer or need additional help in the class, please reach out to me as soon as possible. I'm happy to answer questions. There's no silly question. You're not bothering me. That's my job. I'm the instructor for the class, so I'm happy to field those questions and talk to you more about your writing. We're going to go back up to the top of the page, and I'm going to just briefly go through the side menu bar on the left-hand side and show you the different things that are available and kind of how the course looks. So I'm going to click on the syllabus page, and the syllabus page is going to provide you with a couple of things. First, there is a link that you can download to a Microsoft Word document version of our syllabus. That's available to you. It provides some more in-depth information about the class itself, about the different assignments, and it also gives you a schedule for the class all laid out in a table, so it's easy to see, and it has links available for all the materials that you'll be using throughout the semester. So I recommend downloading that and reading it as soon as possible. The texts that we're using, like I mentioned, are all linked here. They'll be linked throughout the modules page on our Canvas site, so you can access them there. And then if you scroll to the bottom, there's also a course summary that describes the different items for each week, and it groups it in a way that I think is kind of visually helpful, so you can see the due dates and what's due each day, as well as the time that it's due. The next page that's available is the modules page, and if you click on that, it will take you to a week-by-week view of our semester. So there is a module for each week, 1 through 16, and I've provided the dates there as well, so you know which week 1 is and week 2 and so forth. And each of those modules includes a couple of things. They should be organized just as the schedule in your Microsoft Word document syllabus is organized. I've tried to provide the exact same order for everything, so you can check it off your list if you're a person that likes to do that. It's in the same order. The first thing that's included is a checklist, and I'll open this in another tab so you can see it real quick. This is an example of what it looks like, and again, this is exactly what it'll look like in that Microsoft Word document as well. It'll give you really just a complete list of what we're doing each week. There are links provided to all of the things that you need to do. You won't ever have to go hunting throughout the Canvas shell if you are having trouble navigating it. You can go right here and click on the links. I've provided the number of pages for any readings. If there's a video to view, I've provided the number of minutes long the video is so that you can kind of plan accordingly, because I know that a lot of us are doing this kind of in between other projects or alongside work or other responsibilities that you might have, and it's nice to be able to see how long of a commitment you might have for each of these items. So I've tried to include that as clearly as possible in addition to those links. And at the bottom of each weekly checklist, I just remind you that you can email me at any time. I provided my email address there as well if you've got additional questions about the course. There's a checklist for each week so that you can always see a completed list of what you might need to do. Additionally, in each of the modules, all those things are laid out for you again. So you'll notice that there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of different ways to access these materials. Once again, they're all linked for you, so you can click right here in the module. I again give you the details about the length for different things, so 7 pages, 18 pages, what have you. And then you also have links to different assignments that are due, as well as when they're due. And each item in Canvas should have a due date associated with it, so you can see it there as well. Now, if I scroll to week 2, you can get a sense for a couple different things that I've included. So you'll see here at the very top, I've included that the last date to drop with college permission is February 9th. Anytime there's a date like that coming up, I've tried to provide that reminder in the module. And then you'll see things like assignment sheets are linked. There's a video linked. And again, you have things like your discussion boards and different drafts that are due. And that's true throughout the semester. So everything is available right now. The only things that will change are there's some videos that I don't have completed yet that I'll add, but I'll notify you as soon as those are available so you can see them. All of your readings are already provided here, so those are all available. All the discussion boards are live, and all of the assignment sheets and assignments are live as well. So you can scroll through this modules page and get a sense for what the semester looks like. I also want to click over here on Pages. Pages will initially take you back to that home page, but you can click up here on View All Pages, and when you do that, it'll show you a completed list of the different pages that are available in our site. And there's quite a few because those checklists are available. So there are 16 of those that are listed, but also things to check out are the About Your Instructor page. That includes a little bit more information about me if you're curious. There's that advice for WRIT 1120 students. There's a grading page, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that here in just a second so you get a sense of what that looks like. There's a resources page, which is a list of different resources for things like formatting, developing thesis statements, different aspects of writing that you might have questions about. And that's a really good place to go. Even if we're not covering something specifically in class or during that week, you can always go there for additional advice. There's also a page that includes all of the samples for the semester. So I've tried to link samples throughout those modules, but you can go here to see all of them at once if you'd like. It's a list that includes the assignment sheet for each of those major projects, and then there are separate files linked here that are samples for them. The only thing that there aren't samples for is the ePortfolio project because I can't make those anonymous. They're linked right with students' names and there's no way for me to remove them, but I've included the link for where to go to create your ePortfolio. So I'm going to click on the grading page so that you can see what this looks like. I won't speak in too much detail about it because there is a video available that describes more. but I wanted you to see that there's a video embedded here, as well as some additional information about what our grading process looks like for this course. And this is something that I've included for you to do this first week. And I really encourage you to do it as soon as possible so that when you have questions, if you have questions, I can answer them sooner rather than later. The next thing I'm going to click on is the assignments page. And you'll see once we get to the assignments page that each major project is linked. So you can show them by type or by date. So depending on how you'd prefer to look at the assignments, you can organize them different ways. But all of the assignments are live and available here. You can also click on discussions, and the discussions page also includes all of those discussions. And then you can click on your grades page. Once you start turning in projects, you'll see what projects you have completed and what you might have missing. And you can always go here to also access any feedback on your drafts. So you can click here. You can also click on the assignment submission space and then on view feedback, and you'll be able to view the feedback that way as well. It'll show you everything that you have completed, when everything is due. It's another way to look at all of the major assignments for the class. That is, in essence, what our course shell looks like. The only other thing I want to show you real quick, because it's something that a lot of students say they wish they had known first week of the semester in previous classes, is the calendar. So if you're not as familiar with using Canvas for your courses, or you're used to just going there to access and download materials for your face-to-face sections, know that there's a calendar that's available in Canvas. If you come over here to the left-hand side, you can click on calendar, and it'll actually do a similar thing to your to-do list in our Canvas site itself. When you scroll down, you'll see that it also gives you a calendar view of what assignments are due when. So for example, if I go to February, we'll see some more things pop up, and you'll see all the various assignments that are due, when they're due, and it gives you another visual way to look at your assignments. I also recommend, if you're a paper person or you use a Google Calendar, really keep all of your assignments organized. So that is the sort of lengthy but hopefully helpful rundown of what our Canvas shell looks like. And if at any time you have trouble accessing materials or need help finding something, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm happy to help in any way that I can.